All right. For our next installment of Tribe post game conversations, we've got Marcus Washington here. Um, Happy to have you, Marcus.
Happy to be
Talk to
here.
us a little bit about. First, tell us, what year you graduated, what position you played, just a little bit about you for the folks. I know there's very few of us, but for the folks who don't know who you are, Marcus.
Yeah, Marcus Washington. I graduated from William Mary in '03. I played defensive end for 3 years and then played D tackle for my last year. I was a government and a public policy major at William and Mary.
Absolutely. And you're also one of my best friends, just to let
Been
everybody know. Um,
that
so,
way since we were 17.
yeah, maybe actually before that,
Yeah,
Marcus.
before that,
Yeah,
true.
yeah, that
Yeah,
Kings
wow.
Dominion trip.
Yeah, that is
Um,
true.
and Marcus, you were one of the reasons why I went to William and Mary. I will have to admit that I didn't know much about William and Mary when you talked about going, and then
Hmm.
lo and behold, the next year, who's offered me a scholarship? William and Mary.
William and Mary, yeah.
Um, Talk to us about the journey, from the time you graduated until now, and the career path, et cetera.
Yep. I always knew I wanted to go into education and to be a teacher. I actually started doing that, subbing my senior year at William and Mary. And so when I got out of William and Mary, I got a job as a teacher's aide and got my master's degree and been in education ever since, going into my 18th year. And now I'm blessed to be the head of school of the Washington Jesuit Academy, which is a tuition-free school for underprivileged kids. And we take these young men, they go to school for 11 hours a day, 11 months out of the year. We give them 3 meals and try to remove every obstacles that they would have in their life, that we possibly can to make them successful. And that's what I've been doing for the past 11 years.
Wow. I mean, I get to hear from you, but it's cool to have you, say it on this forum right here, man. How do you feel like, going to William and Mary and coming from DC? How do you feel like those things prepared you for what you're doing now?
They definitely prepared me for what I'm doing now. And it started just being from DC. Like when we were coming up in DC in the late 80s, early 90s, DC was the murder capital of the world. And it was just so much stuff going on. And I can remember growing up, we just saw so much crazy stuff. And it was one of those things where even as a kid, I just knew it was wrong, that so many of the people I grew up with were never going to have an opportunity to go somewhere like William and Mary or go and be successful. And that was something I never forgot. And it was something I always wanted to work to go and do something about. And it's something that, later on in my education career, I was able to actually go to and address. William and Mary definitely prepared me. It opened so many doors for me, from just some of the private schools that gave me jobs and from the education that I received. I started grad school today after 2 days after I graduated from William and Mary. And I realized very, very quickly, this was nothing like William and Mary. It was 10 times easier. My grades there were awesome. Whereas at William and Mary, as long as I got a C, I was good to go. And,
You can stay out of Coach Laycock's office. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. But you realize, though, like how smart the people who go to William and Mary are, and how when you get out into the real world, it's just not like that. And just how much of a privilege and a blessing it was to be around some of the guys that we were around. But it taught me how to think, it taught me how to write, it taught me how to operate. And I was able to go and use all those skills and really apply them to helping other people.
yeah, and we talked about this, and I got a chance to watch it recently. All of those experiences culminated in you delivering the commencement speech for Gonzaga, your high school in DC,
Yeah.
private high school. Talk to us a little bit about just about that.
Yeah, it was one of the biggest honors I've ever had in my entire life. Everyone who went down to William and Mary knew about my love of Gonzaga. We also had two other guys from Gonzaga, Chris Rozier and Raheem Walker, who came before me, who also went to Gonzaga, and it was a school that we just absolutely loved and did so much for us. And I went back there and I was a teacher there for 5 years. And to be able to return as a graduation speaker, it's one of those things where it's like you've done something right in your life, at least, to be able to get an opportunity to go and talk to another generation of kids like that. And I couldn't have asked for a better opportunity. Or a bigger honor overall. And it went very, very well. And people were excited and happy. But again, it's one of the greatest honors I've ever had in my life.
It was amazing, man. So,
Yeah.
folks, if you're watching, We'll provide the links and some of our social media and email, and check it out. I thought it was life changing. I definitely teared up, man, just knowing him, but watching him blossom in that form, it was amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you, Marcus.
No, no problem. Thank you, Dante, for what you're doing for William and Mary too, though. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, brother.
All righty.
Is there anything else that you want to leave folks with? If you had an opportunity to talk to, let's just say, a current student, anything else, anything you'd like to leave with them really quickly before we head out?
Yeah, I would say William and Mary continues to pay dividends for me later on in life. It wasn't always the easiest place when I was going to school there, but the friends who I came out with and the education that I received, it was everything that I went through, both good and bad, was absolutely worth it. And it's a great place, and I'm still close with so many folks. However many years later, we're on the Zoom call together and still friends with all the guys and on text message chains with a bunch of former William Mary football players. And it's worth it. And it's a great opportunity and a great experience. Take advantage of it and make the most of it.
Awesome. So folks, appreciate you guys tuning in. Marcus, I appreciate you making yourself available. You're a busy man, but I'm glad I was able to pin you down for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
And we'll see you the next time, hopefully at one of the games in the fall.
Yep, absolutely. You take care, Dante.
All
right. See you, everyone.